नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं ईश्वर। मैं आप सभी का अपने चैनल टेक एंड टारगेट पर स्वागत करता हूं। दोस्तों, आज की वीडियो में हमारे साथ है सिद्धार्थ, जिनका रिसेंटली प्लेसमेंट हुआ है दोस्तों डिलॉयट कंपनी में। जैसा कि दोस्तों आप सभी को पता है कि डिलॉयट साल में ऑन कैंपस एज वेल एज ऑफ कैंपस हायरिंग करती है। तो दोस्तों, आज की वीडियो में इन डिटेल सिद्धार्थ अपने एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में बताएंगे, इंक्लूडिंग इंटरव्यू एज वेल एज बिफोर इंटरव्यू क्या हुआ था, क्या क्या चीजें इनसे पूछी गई थी। तो मेरी बस छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट रहेगी कि वीडियो को लास्ट तक जरूर देखेगा एंड साथ ही साथ कमेंट सेक्शन में आज सिद्धार्थ को कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन विश करना बिल्कुल भी मत भूलिएगा। तो इस वीडियो को स्टार्ट करते हैं सिद्धार्थ के इंट्रोडक्शन के साथ।
Hello, Anshul sir. Very good evening. My name is Siddharth, and I did my b.tech in computer science engineering from Veer Surendra Sai University of Technology, which is based in Burla in the Sambalpur district of Odisha. Deloitte came to our campus on on 26th August. After that, we filled the form and we were given with a link of online test where there were around the questions were around coding and they were mostly pseudo codes, and we gave that exam on MCAT platform. That was conducted in September first week. After giving that exam, we got the interview links of the selected candidates after around 3 to 4 days. So in that interview, we were given individual links to join and the time slots as well. So I gave my interview on 7 September, and that was around you can say around 2 p.m. And basically the questions that I got asked in my interview were majorly from the resume. So around 95% of the questions which I was asked was from my resume. First question by the interviewer was like, tell me about yourself, your background, and which branch do you belong to. After that, he started asking me about some basic questions around C++, the difference between while and do while loop. And also I have mentioned object oriented programming in my resume. So they asked me about encapsulation, polymorphism, and so one by one I explained to him. And as I told that mostly the questions in the interview are based on your resume. So as I have mentioned a couple of internships in my resume, so they asked me about, like for example, I did one internship with Experto in the operations department. So they asked about the the work which I did there, the roles and responsibilities of mine. And also I have worked as a data science intern at a tech startup before, like during my college. So they also asked about the roles and responsibilities, which technology were you using, and for how many months did you work there. And also in my certification section, I have mentioned about that I have did a certification in cyber security that was hosted by Mastercard. So they asked me about what all did I did there, and what I learned from there. And also in the achievement sections in my resume, I have mentioned that I was awarded as the rising star during my internship period at a company called Experto. So he asked me about what were the roles and responsibilities there, and like what did you do for which you were awarded this thing. And after answering this question, they moved to the project part. In the project, I have mentioned 3 projects. One was key loggers, which was basically a keystrokes logging, where like if you enter any key in your keypad, so it will remember that which key you entered and the sequence as well. And the second project was during my third year, that was a judiciary management system where uh, the uh, the client and the judge, so they get a platform where the queries can be resolved very easily. And other was a front-end responsive website that was basically a education website where like you can scroll for courses and other materials which you can buy there. And in extracurricular activities, I have mentioned that I have volunteered for Teach for India. So they asked me about like where it is based, Teach for India, whether it was remote working or where you here in Mumbai for that. So I told them that it was work from home and all the responsibilities which I had. And also they asked about a startup, like what did you do there, and as it was a startup which is based in Singapore, so I told them the responsibilities as a data science intern. And at the end they asked me about do you have any questions for us, about the role and joining as well. So I asked that, as our profile was consulting analyst, so I asked like what is the role, like what duties we have to perform there if we get selected. And then he explained me that these are the things which you need to do, and that you will be given this month of training, and how you will proceed further. And after that, the meeting, like the interview ended. Like it was around 20 minutes of interview, which I gave.
ओके। सो सिद्धार्थ, पूरे इंटरव्यू में कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन थी जहाँ आप कोई क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं दे पाए हो, या फिर देयर वाज सिचुएशन की जहाँ इंटरव्यूअर ने काफी आपको क्रॉस क्वेश्चन किया हो?
Sir, not cross questions, as I told, like maximum resume के basis पे questions थे. So as I was not confident in data structures and algorithms, so I didn't give that. मैंने वो नहीं दिया था. And मैंने basically जो दिया था, that was C++, Java, object oriented programming and SQL. So I got mostly questions around C++ basics and object oriented programming, like encapsulation, polymorphism, what are the four pillars of OOPS, and why it is important. And these were the questions basically. And mostly the questions were from my resume, from the section, from the certification section, from the internship which I did. So around 80 to 85% of the questions were directly based on like extracurricular activities and what I did in college, and about the internship and extracurricular activity section. And rest 10 to 15% were technical questions, where like in C++, they also told me to share my screen, and they gave a simple program to just find average of numbers. And after that they asked me about the difference between while, do while loop, and these basic questions.
सिद्धार्थ, टेल मी, लाइक आपको अगर बाकी स्टूडेंट को सजेशन दोगे कि अगर इंटरव्यू के लिए प्रिपेयर करना है, फिर डिलॉइट के ऑनलाइन एग्जाम के लिए प्रिपेयर करना है, तो हाउ विल यू गोइंग टू सजेस्ट? उसके लिए आप कैसे स्टूडेंट्स को बोलोगे कि यहाँ से आप प्रिपेयर कर सकते हो, यहाँ चीजें आपको स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में मिल जाएंगी?
सर, फॉर दैट आई वुड फर्स्ट सजेस्ट कि जो भी रेज्यूमे में दे रहे हो उसके बारे में अगर थॉरो हो तभी दो. बिकॉज लाइक आपने जो जो रेज्यूमे में लिखा है, अराउंड 75 to 80% वो आपको पूछेंगे कि ये क्यों लिखा है, आपका यहाँ पे क्या रोल था, या ये सर्टिफिकेट आपने, या ये लाइसेंस आपने अचीव किया तो इससे आपको क्या सीखने को मिला. तो आप वहाँ पे फंस सकते हो. तो अगर उसमें आप थॉरो नहीं हो तो बेसिकली नहीं देना चाहिए. एंड द सेकेंड थिंग इज लाइक प्रीवियस जो आप जिस पोस्ट पोजीशन के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हो, फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे ये जो पोस्ट पोजीशन के लिए मैंने अप्लाई किया था, इट वाज ऑन कैंपस कंसल्टिंग एनालिस्ट. सो अगर आप इस पोस्ट के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हो तो इट इज़ गुड कि आप पहले से ही कुछ वीडियोस वगैरह देख लो. लाइक बहुत सारे चैनल्स है, जैसे टेक एंड टारगेट है सर आपका चैनल, और भी 2-3 यूट्यूब चैनल्स है जहाँ पे आप लाइक आपने जो जो स्किल्स दे रखे हैं आपके रिज्यूमे में, आप उसके रिलेटेड देख सकते हो वीडियोस. वहाँ पे प्री पास्ट इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं, एज वेल एज उस टॉपिक के रिलेटेड मोस्ट आस्क्ड इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस हैं, एंड दे आर वेरी हेल्पफुल. And also if you are specifically applying for Deloitte as a consulting analyst, so आपका communication और presentation भी बहुत ज़्यादा मैटर करता है. बिकॉज स्किल्स, आप अगर कंप्यूटर साइंस बैकग्राउंड से हो तो मोस्टली आपने जो रेज्यूमे में लिखा हो वो आपको आता ही होगा. बट जो एक्स्ट्रा फैक्टर है जो आपको सिलेक्ट कर सकता है, मतलब बहुत हेल्पफुल है आपके सिलेक्शन में, वो है कम्युनिकेशन और प्रेजेंटेशन. तो प्रिपेयर वेल, एज वेल एज उनके आगे भी वैसे ही बैठो, मतलब जैसे कि आप बहुत अच्छा मतलब प्रेजेंटेबल लगो.
एग्जैक्टली।
एंड वो चीज़ बिल्कुल नहीं देनी चाहिए जो आपको, मतलब आप थॉरो नहीं हो जिस स्किल के ऊपर, क्योंकि वो उसके ऊपर अगर आपको वो पूछेंगे और आप तब मम रहते हो तो इट विल क्रिएट अ नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट. एंड सो एज आई वाज नॉट कॉन्फिडेंट विद डेटा स्ट्रक्चर, सो मैंने नहीं दिया था, विच लाइक वाज अ वेरी गुड थिंग फॉर मी.
दैट्स ग्रेट सिद्धार्थ। So Siddharth, thank you so much for sharing your whole experience from online test to the interview and explaining the, like, even you gave the guidance as well, like how a student should prepare. So thank you so much for sharing your whole experience.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.